So imagine you own a house, right? And winter is coming.
Okay, yeah.
You look at your heating bill and you decide, wow, this is just way too high.
Right. Nobody likes a high utility bill.
Exactly. So to save a few bucks, you take some plywood and you literally just board up your own front door.
I mean, that is a fairly catastrophic way to save on utilities.
It is. But on paper, it works. Your heating bill actually goes down.
Sure.
But suddenly the mail carrier can't deliver your packages. Your friends stop coming over. Your house becomes completely isolated from the outside world.
Right, because you solved a short-term spreadsheet problem, but you accidentally walled off your entire house.
Exactly. And welcome to the deep dive, everyone, because today we're looking at a major television network that seems to have just, well, boarded up its own front door.
Yeah, we're unpacking the really dramatic fallout following CBS firing Stephen Colbert from The Late Show.
And the reason we're doing this today for you, the listener, it isn't just for, celebrity gossip.
No, not at all.
The mechanics of what's happening behind the scenes here, it's giving us this masterclass in how fragile the modern media ecosystem actually is.
It really is. And to understand the full scope of this collapse, we are analyzing two very distinct sources today.
Right. What do we have on the desk?
First, we have a June 13th, 2026 article from Raw Story, written by Adam Nichols. And that provides some rather devastating Nielsen ratings data.
Raw numbers, yeah.
Exactly. And alongside that, we're diving into a massive, highly active Reddit thread from r/Stephen Colbert.
And that subreddit is, it's giving us a very raw, real-time look at how an audience reacts when they feel, completely betrayed by a corporate media decision.
Yeah. So our mission today is to pull apart those hidden mechanics of network television.
We really want to understand how a single late-night slot can act as a linchpin for a network's overall survival, right?
Mm-hmm. And what actually happens when corporate mergers collide head-on with a highly mobilized, furious viewership.
Yes. But before we jump into the deep end here, we do need to set some ground rules for you, the listener.
We really do. So the sources we're exploring today, they get heavily into the political weeds.
Very heavily.
Yeah, they contain highly charged claims and allegations involving major left-wing and right-wing figures.
Including the President of the United States.
Right, the president and the corporate owners of these massive media conglomerates.
So to be completely clear up front, you and I, we are not here to validate these political claims, right? We're not passing ethical judgments, and we are absolutely taking no sides.
None at all. We are strictly impartial.
Our job is simply to unpack the blueprints of this fallout, based exactly on what the audience is saying in these original sources.
Exactly. We're just conveying the ideas and allegations that are already out there to analyze how those perceptions are driving real-world financial consequences.
Right. We are looking at the media landscape, entirely neutral to the politics themselves. So let's start with the immediate aftermath of this schedule change.
Handed that critical 11:35 p.m. time slot over to Byron Allen.
Right.
And the Nielsen data shows that nearly 2/3 of the audience Colbert was drawing toward the end of his run, they have completely vanished.
2/3. 2/3 of an audience disappearing overnight is just, it's hard to wrap your head around.
It's massive. And they didn't just, turn off their TVs entirely.
Right. Where did they go?
The data shows this huge block of viewers migrated heavily over to Jimmy Kimmel on ABC.
Wow. Meanwhile, CBS is airing Byron Allen's Comics Unleashed.
Yeah.
And just to give you some context on that show, it is not some, fresh, highly anticipated late-night experiment.
Yeah, not at all.
It's a syndicated show that has literally been around for 20 years.
Right, which brings up a really fundamental misunderstanding that most people have about how television programming actually works.
Oh, absolutely. Because when a late-night show tanks, I think the natural assumption is, well, the network simply loses 1 hour of ad revenue.
Exactly. But the damage is rarely contained to just that specific time slot.
And that brings us back to that boarded up front door metaphor. Because the Raw Story article, it cites media experts like Michael Socolow, he's a communication professor, and Bill Carter, the veteran media reporter. And they point to this phenomenon in the television industry known as the coattail effect.
Right, the coattail effect. And this relies entirely on a concept called linear television.
Which is what Exactly. Just for the listener.
Well, for anyone used to modern streaming, where you actively click on a specific show on demand, linear television is your traditional scheduled broadcast TV.
You get what's on.
Exactly. Whatever is playing at 11 p.m. is what you get. And historically, linear television's power has always relied really heavily on viewer inertia.
Laziness, essentially. I mean, the habit of just not reaching for the remote control.
Yeah, pretty much. Audience behavior studies have shown this for decades. A really significant portion of viewers will watch a late-night show, maybe fall asleep, or just turn the TV off. And when they wake up the next morning and turn the TV back on, it is still tuned to that same network.
Oh, so they are immediately fed the network's morning show.
Yes. And if they don't actively hate what they see, they just leave it on. So the late-night show is this entry point that provides a massive passive lift to the morning programming.
It's like a keystone species in an ecosystem.
Oh, that's a perfect way to look at it.
Like if you remove the top predator, the whole riverbed changes. Which makes me wonder, does this mean the entire concept of a TV network is actually just built on human laziness?
I mean, partly, yes. The habit of not reaching for the remote is huge. And Bill Carter also points out that the ecosystem flaked backward as well.
Backward? How so?
People who wanted to catch Colbert's opening monologue would habitually tune in a few minutes early.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that meant they were watching the tail end of the late local news.
Wow. Okay, so by canceling Colbert and slotting in this 20-year-old syndicated show, CBS didn't just lose late-night viewers.
No, they actively severed the pipeline that artificially inflates their local news and their morning shows.
Carter phrased it perfectly. I think he said CBS has, quote, diminished itself.
Yeah. It creates a cascading failure across the entire broadcast schedule because the flow from one program to the next, that's the actual lifeblood of a linear network.
Break the flow, and you lose the audience entirely.
Exactly.
But, okay, if the ecosystem is this fragile, right, and canceling a hit show blows up the morning ratings, CBS executives, they aren't stupid.
No, they definitely aren't.
They had to know this cascading failure was a risk. So what numbers were they looking at that made this sledgehammer approach actually look like a good idea?
Well, we have to look at the network's official defense. CBS provided a statement to the Daily Beast, and they are not apologizing.
Not at all.
No. They claim they are proud to partner with Byron Allen on this new business model, specifically noting that they proactively addressed a time slot that had become cost prohibitive.
I mean, the math they're presenting to the public is definitely staggering.
It really is.
CBS claims they took an hour of television that was losing roughly $40 million annually.
$40 million, yeah.
And shifted it to a model that is now generating $15 million in profit.
Right. So that is a $55 million swing on the corporate ledger.
Wow. And the mechanism driving that sudden profitability is something called a time-buy arrangement, right?
Yes. Basically, Allen Media is footing all the production costs for the hour.
Okay, let's unpack how a time buy actually functions, because it's a huge shift from traditional network television. Usually a network pays a studio to produce a show, and the network hopes to recoup that money by selling commercial time to advertisers.
Right, that's the standard model.
But in a time buy, Byron Allen is effectively renting the bandwidth. He buys the airtime from CBS outright, puts his own show on, and sells his own ads.
Yeah, CBS takes zero financial risk on the production. They act less like a curator of content and more like, well, a digital landlord just collecting rent.
Right. And let me play devil's advocate here for a second.
Go for it.
Broadcast television is a dying medium.
Fair.
It is losing blood every day to streaming platforms, TikTok, YouTube. So if a network can flip a $40 million loss into a guaranteed $15 million gain by just renting out the space,
Yeah.
isn't that just a smart, ruthless business decision for a legacy company that's just trying to survive? Or are they just doing corporate math that ignores the invisible value of prestige?
Well, the Reddit community aggressively dismantled that exact corporate narrative.
Really? How so?
The users on r/Stephen Colbert, they demonstrate an incredibly sophisticated understanding of media economics.
Okay.
They argue that CBS's math is inherently flawed because it only counts the direct ad revenue during that specific hour.
So it completely ignores the invisible prestige economy.
Exactly. This is where the mechanics of celebrity and marketing come into play. Colbert Show wasn't just an isolated entertainment hour, right?
Yeah.
It was a massive, subsidized promotional engine for Paramount Films and CBS shows.
Let's break down the economics of a late-night guest booking, because one Reddit user detailed this brilliantly.
It was a great post.
Normally, if a network wants A-list prestige talent, someone like, say, Tom Hanks or Denzel Washington, to star in a project, it costs millions of dollars.
Tens of millions, usually.
Right. But those same stars would show up on Colbert's stage for SAG minimum wages.
Yeah. And just to clarify for the listener, SAG minimums are the baseline daily rates set by the Screen Actors Guild.
It is absolute pennies compared to what these actors are actually worth.
Pennies. And the reason these massive stars agree to work for a union minimum is that the movie studios are treating the appearance as a marketing expense for a new film.
So the network is getting hours of highly entertaining, culturally relevant television, featuring the biggest stars in the world, and paying practically nothing for the talent.
Nothing. The talent is there to promote something else, but in the process, they generate endless free marketing for the network itself.
You get those vital water cooler moments, the clips go viral on YouTube the next morning. That cultural relevance provides a halo effect for the entire CBS brand. And under this new Byron Allen time-buy model, that incredibly cheap, high-value marketing apparatus is just gone.
It's completely gone. The audience fundamentally rejects the network's spreadsheet logic. They believe that $55 million swing is a short-sighted illusion.
An illusion that will ultimately cost the network drastically more in lost prestige and, well, fractured brand loyalty.
Exactly. And when an audience rejects the official financial explanation, it leaves this massive vacuum.
Right. If the viewers don't believe this was really about saving money, they start looking for the real motive.
And that vacuum is rapidly filled by theories of political appeasement, which takes us into the deepest, angriest parts of this Reddit thread.
Yes, and again, reminding the listener of our strict neutrality here.
Yeah.
The overarching sentiment on that subreddit is a profound conviction that Colbert's firing was a political quid pro quo.
That's the core allegation. Users are pointing their fingers directly at Skydance, the Ellison family, and Paramount.
They're claiming that these corporate entities basically bent the knee to Donald Trump to ensure their corporate merger went through without regulatory interference from the administration.
Right. And the sources highlight a long history of friction to support this theory. The Reddit thread notes that Trump constantly complained about Colbert's jokes. They describe him as possessing a fragile ego regarding late-night mockery, frequently whining about Colbert, who, as the thread points out, famously won an Emmy shortly after the show was canceled.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So for the users on the subreddit, this wasn't a spreadsheet correction.
No, not to them.
They view it as a chilling act of corporate censorship, like a sacrifice of a vocal, high-profile critic to appease a political administration and just smooth the way for a business merger.
And to illustrate the current political climate that's fueling these fears, the sources highlight a visual detail about the physical state of the White House that is genuinely surreal.
Oh, right. The source material notes there is currently a UFC cage built on the south lawn of the White House.
A literal UFC fighting cage.
Situated right next to the ruined East Wing. Just paint that picture in your head for a second. The ruined East Wing of the White House, and right next to it, a UFC cage.
It's wild, and the layer of corporate synergy that ties it all together is that this White House UFC event is being heavily advertised to viewers via pop-ups on Vizio smart TVs.
Oh, and specifically promoting it for the Paramount Plus streaming service.
Exactly. It's the same parent company pushing the White House fighting cage to your living room that just fired their biggest late-night critic.
So for the viewers, this creates a terrifying narrative. They feel the network is entirely complicit in what they view as an authoritarian shift.
Yeah. One user in the thread even compared it to watching a dystopian sci-fi movie slowly become a documentary.
Which asks a critical question, I think, that connects right back to you, the viewer. So what does this all mean for you?
Yeah.
Because if an audience perceives a business decision as a political concession to an administration, whether true or not, does the objective financial truth even matter to the bottom line anymore?
That is the ultimate question here. Because when an audience feels politically betrayed by a brand, their relationship to that brand radically changes.
They go from being a passive consumer to an active adversary.
Right. They aren't just changing the channel to Jimmy Kimmel. They aren't just sighing and moving on to another show.
No. They are actively seeking to dismantle the network's reach in their own homes.
The countermeasures detailed in the Reddit thread are astonishingly specific. We're seeing a coordinated grassroots effort to surgically erase CBS from their media diet.
Yes, I was reading this. Users are posting step-by-step tutorials on how to use parental controls on their Verizon cable boxes and their YouTube TV accounts to completely block the CBS network.
Let's unpack the psychology of that for a second.
Yeah.
Parental controls are designed to stop your 7-year-old from stumbling into a violent horror movie.
Right.
These are grown adults using software locks to physically prevent themselves or anyone else in their household from even accidentally landing on CBS while channel surfing.
It is a deliberate tactic to guarantee the coattail effect stays dead. You cannot accidentally boost their morning show ratings if your television physically refuses to tune to the channel.
Exactly. Furthermore, they're canceling their Paramount Plus subscriptions en masse.
And a new derogatory moniker for the network is spreading rapidly across social media, too.
Oh, yeah. CBS News.
CBS News, yeah. Returning to our house metaphor from the beginning, this isn't just changing the channel because you don't like the new guy.
Yeah.
The homeowners aren't just boarding up the front door anymore. The audience is standing outside with a blowtorch, actively dismantling the remaining studs. This is salting the earth, so nothing can ever grow in that network again for your household.
Salting the earth is a highly accurate description because of the cascading collateral damage we are seeing. Beloved, legacy programs are being caught in the crossfire of this boycott. Longtime viewers are painfully forcing themselves to abandon shows they have watched and loved for decades, simply because of the network logo attached to them.
I was reading through the specific examples in the thread, and the collateral damage is just wild. It isn't just late night taking a hit.
Not at all.
People are refusing to watch CBS Sunday morning, specifically citing a recent fawning profile of J.D. Vance as the final straw that confirmed their political fears about the network's new direction.
Right. And 60 Minutes is also facing a massive boycott, with viewers actively mourning the firing of veteran journalist Scott Pelley. And even scripted entertainment isn't safe. People are abandoning hit sitcoms like Ghosts, and most notably, the Star Trek franchise.
Oh, you do not want to cross Star Trek fans.
Never.
That is a deeply loyal, highly mobilized fan base.
Very much so. Viewers are expressing genuine heartbreak over the cancellation of Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks. They feel the network is systematically destroying everything of cultural value.
Yeah.
And this brings us to a broader economic concept raised repeatedly by the users, a term coined by author Cory Doctorow to describe the modern digital economy.
Right. Enshittification.
Enshittification.
It's a blunt word, but it captures the exact feeling of this era. Let's define what that actually means in a business context for the listeners.
Sure. So enshittification refers to the deliberate life cycle of a platform or a commodity managed by a monopoly.
Okay.
First, the company offers a high-quality product to attract users.
Makes sense.
Once the users are locked in, the company degrades the user experience to appease business customers or advertisers. Finally, they hollow out the product entirely to extract maximum short-term profit, leaving the original users with just a miserable experience.
And the Reddit users view the Colbert firing, the pivot to the Byron Allen time buy, and the perceived political appeasement as the ultimate enshittification of a legacy broadcast network.
Exactly. CBS hollows out the prestige of the 11:35 slot, fills it with a cheap 20-year-old syndicated show that costs them nothing, and hopes the advertisers don't notice that the culturally engaged audience has entirely left the building.
Wow.
And the deepest fear expressed in these sources is that this model of enshittification is highly contagious.
Oh, absolutely. Users are explicitly expressing anxiety about the upcoming Warner Brothers Discovery merger.
Yes.
They're terrified that the HBO and Max platforms are next on the chopping block, right? Doomed to be hollowed out for quick corporate gains, replacing high-art prestige dramas with cheap reality TV just to balance a spreadsheet.
It really paints a stark picture of the modern media landscape.
It really does.
Yeah.
We started this deep dive looking at one late-night TV host losing his job, and we've ended up uncovering the incredibly fragile house of cards that supports network television today. It is a precarious, high-wire balancing act of corporate ledgers, political optics, and viewer loyalty.
And when a network breaks the trust of the viewer, whether through a perceived drop in quality or a perceived political betrayal, the entire linear model shatters.
Right.
The audience realizes they hold the power.
Which brings us back to why this matters to you.
Yeah.
We live in an era of infinite choice. You can stream a million different things from a dozen different platforms at any moment.
Yeah.
In that environment, your attention is the only currency that actually matters.
Very true.
This entire saga, proves that your subscription dollars and literally the inputs on your television remote are your ultimate leverage against massive corporate conglomerates.
Yep.
When a sophisticated audience decides to salt the earth, even a legacy giant like CBS feels the pain of those missing numbers.
It leaves us with a critical question to ponder as we watch this industry evolve over the next few years.
What's that?
If a legacy broadcast network is willing to essentially act as a digital landlord, renting out its most culturally valuable real estate to syndication just to satisfy a quarterly spreadsheet, are we witnessing the final days of network television acting as a shared cultural campfire?
Wow. That is a phenomenal thought to leave on. The shared cultural campfire is it's slowly being replaced by a rented space heater.
Yeah.
And if you aren't paying attention, the walls of your favorite network might be the next thing boarded up to save a few bucks. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep asking questions, keep watching where you put your attention, and we will see you next time.